Welcome to the Financial Pulse. I am back here with CEO Johnny Cantrell. So Johnny, thanks for joining us today. It's our first Financial Pulse of 2020, and we got some big news at the beginning of the year. So FICO made a big announcement that starting in summer of 2020, they are going to come out with FICO 10, their new scoring model. And so that kind of sent waves through the credit scoring industry, and a lot for us to learn before summer. But we want to make sure that everyone is prepared and knows what those changes are so that you can build your credit effectively. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So Johnny, I know you are in close contact with FICO, and so you've got the inside scoop today for us. One thing we know that is going to affect this new FICO score is that trended data is going to be included. So that's kind of new terminology. Can you tell us what that means and what that's going to mean for credit reports and scores?
Yeah, they're basically going to take a historical view of an individual's payment history, but also the account balances that they're carrying for their credit. And they're going to focus on that past 2 years as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing that the level of detail we can get to now. And another big piece is that delinquencies are going to have a bigger impact on the credit score. So what is that going to mean for the average consumer?
Well, FICO is estimating about 80 million people are going to see a shift in their score of 20 points up or down. An additional 110 million people are going to see only modest changes. So that's what we think we're going to see, primarily that 20-point range with the vast majority of consumers we work with.
Right. So that could have a potential negative impact for folks, right? So
Right.
that's something that people are going to want to pay more attention to and really hone in on making those payments on these time.
time.
New changes are coming summer 2020, but what insight do you have on why these changes are being enacted?
Well, there's an increase in personal loans. Primarily, there's more online lenders. So you're seeing the marketplace get a little bit more competitive. We're getting loans now in non-traditional ways. We're not just doing credit cards anymore. We're not just walking into a bank and getting a personal loan. We're doing a lot of lending practices online now.
Right.
And to kind of put that in perspective, the third quarter of 2019, we saw a $92 billion increase in household debt. Now, to put that in perspective of where we sit here today in 2020, we're over $14 trillion in household debt.
Right.
So, I think that we just have more data now. There's more debt now. It's increasing debt. And I think it's just time for maybe to reevaluate the scoring process with all this new debt in the marketplace.
One other piece, right, is that the amount of debt, particularly credit card debt, is going to have a bigger impact with FICO 10. So what is that going to mean for the consumer that uses credit cards?
The most dramatic and significant drops that we're going to see are really the high credit card debt, the missed payments. Those are going to be more significant, and we'll notice those more. If you're a consumer in those areas, you'll be impacted more. Consumers that are currently struggling with higher balances and late payments, they're going to see the most dramatic hits to the score itself. So basically, the fundamentals aren't changing a whole lot. Paying your bills on time, not using credit unless you absolutely have to, and maintaining low credit card balances. So credit card being revolving debt, personal type loans, those are going to be the ones we really want to maintain.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for that insight, Johnny. These changes happen often, and so it's good to get some insight. We have a couple of resources. We have an infographic. So if you want a visual of this information, then check out our featured resource this month on our website. And then another great resource to learn more is an Experian blog, what you need to know about the new FICO 10 credit scores. So I would encourage everyone to utilize those two resources, and we'll be back. We'll keep up with all of the current trends in personal finance, and we'll be back to talk to you about them in a couple months. So thanks for joining us today on the Financial Pulse.